Fukushima nuclear disaster. What really happened? The Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster, which occurred on March 11, 2011, is one of the most significant nuclear accidents in history. This catastrophic event unfolded in Japan following a massive earthquake and tsunami, leading to multiple reactor meltdowns at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. Understanding what really happened during the Fukushima disaster requires delving into its complex causes, consequences, and ongoing efforts to manage the aftermath. The lead-up to disaster. The Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, nestled along Japan's eastern coast, was constructed to withstand seismic activity. Japan, situated on the Pacific Ring of Fire, is highly prone to earthquakes. The plant was designed with advanced engineering, protective measures, and stringent safety protocols to mitigate the risks associated with earthquakes and tsunamis. However, no one could have foreseen the scale of devastation that the Tohoku earthquake would unleash on March 11, 2011. The Tohoku earthquake, also known as the Great East Japan Earthquake, struck with a magnitude of 9.0 to 9.1, making it the most powerful earthquake ever recorded in Japan and one of the strongest worldwide. The earthquake's epicenter lay off the east coast of the Tohoku region, approximately 70 kilometers (43 miles) from the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. Its sheer force unleashed an unrelenting series of seismic shocks that shook the very foundations of the region. The Fukushima Daiichi plant, boasting multiple reactors, was designed with a robust array of safety measures. Key among them was the assumption that the facility could endure seismic activity and tsunamis. However, the monumental power of this earthquake surpassed all expectations. It violently shook the reactors, compromised the structural integrity of the plant, and initiated a cascading series of events that would lead to the nuclear disaster. Reactor meltdowns. In the immediate aftermath of the Tohoku earthquake, the situation at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant began to deteriorate rapidly. The earthquake had knocked out the external power supply to the plant, a crucial lifeline for the reactor's cooling systems. Without this power, the reactors had to rely on backup generators and battery banks to continue cooling. The true gravity of the situation became apparent when the subsequent tsunami, generated by the earthquake, surged towards the plant's coastline defenses. Despite being built to withstand tsunamis, the protective seawalls were overwhelmed by waves reaching heights of up to 15 meters (49 feet). This inundation caused widespread flooding within the plant, inundating the emergency generators and batteries. The loss of these critical power sources marked the beginning of a dire crisis. With the cooling systems offline, the heat generated within the reactor cores could not be adequately dissipated. This, in turn, led to the fuel rods inside the reactors becoming exposed to air. As the temperature and pressure within the reactor vessels rose to critical levels, a series of chemical reactions commenced, culminating in the catastrophic event known as a core meltdown. A core meltdown is a nightmarish scenario in the world of nuclear energy. It occurs when the fuel rods inside a reactor become so hot that they begin to melt, releasing highly radioactive materials. The consequences of a core meltdown are severe, posing a grave threat to both the plant workers and the environment. In the case of Fukushima Daiichi, not one but 3 reactor cores would ultimately succumb to this nightmarish fate. Hydrogen explosions. As the reactors at Fukushima Daiichi experienced core meltdowns, another ominous development emerged. The extreme heat generated during the core meltdown caused the zirconium alloy cladding of the fuel rods to react with water vapor, leading to a chemical reaction that produced hydrogen gas within the reactor containment structures. This hydrogen gas, colorless and highly flammable, accumulated in the upper regions of the reactor buildings, creating an imminent threat. The hydrogen buildup was not merely a theoretical concern. It posed an immediate risk of explosions within the reactor buildings. Hydrogen explosions have the potential to cause extensive damage and release radioactive materials into the atmosphere. Unfortunately, this threat became a reality at Fukushima Daiichi. On March 12, 2011, just one day after the earthquake and tsunami, the explosion at Unit 1 of the plant shattered the reactor building. This explosion was followed by similar blasts at Units 3 and 4 on March 14 and 15, respectively. These explosions were dramatic events captured by news cameras and witnessed worldwide, further intensifying concerns about the disaster's scale and consequences. The explosions were a result of a combination of factors, including the buildup of hydrogen gas and the structural damage caused by the earthquake and tsunami. Immediate and ongoing consequences. The immediate consequences of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster were extensive. Tens of thousands of residents were evacuated from the surrounding areas to avoid potential exposure to radiation. The disaster had profound economic, social, and psychological impacts on the affected communities and the nation as a whole. Japan declared a nuclear emergency, and the international community offered assistance and expertise to help mitigate the crisis. Efforts to stabilize the reactors and mitigate the release of radioactive materials continued for months and even years after the initial disaster. Radiation and health impacts. One of the most significant concerns arising from the Fukushima Daiichi disaster is the potential health impact on both plant workers and the local population. The release of radioactive materials into the environment raised fears of radiation exposure and its associated health risks. Prompt and thorough monitoring of radiation levels, as well as the distribution of potassium iodide tablets to prevent thyroid cancer, were among the measures taken to mitigate these concerns. Studies have been ongoing to assess the long-term health effects of the Fukushima disaster. Decommissioning and cleanup. Following the initial crisis response, attention turned to the monumental task of decommissioning the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant and managing the ongoing cleanup efforts. This process is expected to take decades and comes with a range of technical, logistical, and environmental challenges. One of the primary tasks is the removal of the melted fuel from the damaged reactor cores, a process that has never been attempted on this scale before. Innovative technologies and remote-controlled robotic systems have been developed to access and retrieve the highly radioactive materials. International implications. The Fukushima Daiichi disaster had a profound impact on nuclear energy policy and safety standards worldwide. Many countries initiated comprehensive reviews of their own nuclear facilities, safety protocols, and emergency preparedness plans in response to the events in Japan. In the aftermath of Fukushima, there was a renewed focus on the importance of transparency, accountability, and international cooperation in nuclear safety. The International Atomic Energy Agency (IAEA) played a central role in coordinating the global response and facilitating the exchange of information and expertise. The Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster was a complex and multifaceted event that unfolded due to a devastating earthquake and tsunami, followed by a series of cascading failures at the nuclear power plant. It resulted in multiple reactor core meltdowns, hydrogen explosions, and the release of radioactive materials into the environment. The lessons learned from Fukushima have had a profound impact on the nuclear industry and disaster preparedness globally. It serves as a stark reminder of the importance of robust safety measures, emergency response plans, and ongoing scrutiny of nuclear facilities, as well as the inherent risks associated with nuclear energy. The legacy of Fukushima continues to shape nuclear policy, safety standards, and public perception of nuclear power, underscoring the need for rigorous safety protocols and international cooperation in the pursuit of safe and sustainable energy sources. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. For more interesting content, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. Have a nice day, and I will see you in the next video.